Persuasion, the art of influencing others, is a powerful force in our daily lives. It shapes our choices, behaviors, and interactions. Understanding persuasion can make us better communicators and decision-makers. Robert Cialdini's book, Influence, reveals 6 principles of persuasion. These principles are based on deep psychological insights. They help us recognize and resist manipulation. This essay explores Cialdini's principles with real-world examples. Persuasion's ethics depend on its application. Used ethically, it fosters positive change and strong relationships. Mastering ethical persuasion harnesses its power for good. In a world full of persuasion, understanding influence is crucial. Knowledge of Cialdini's principles helps us navigate human interactions with confidence and integrity. The principle of reciprocation is deeply ingrained in human nature. It dictates that when someone does something for us, we feel obligated to return the favor. Marketers exploit this by offering free samples or gifts to trigger a sense of indebtedness. Recognize that unsolicited gifts are often tactics to influence your behavior. You are under no obligation to reciprocate if you feel pressured or manipulated. The principle of commitment and consistency highlights our innate desire to be consistent with our past actions, statements, and beliefs. Once we make a commitment, even a small one, we are more likely to agree to subsequent requests that align with that initial commitment. This principle is often used in the foot-in-the-door technique, where a small initial request paves the way for larger requests later on. For instance, a salesperson might ask a potential customer if they are interested in saving money on their energy bills. This small, seemingly innocuous question serves as an initial commitment. Once the customer expresses interest, the salesperson can then proceed to present their product or service as a solution, increasing the likelihood of a sale. Similarly, getting someone to agree to a small task, such as signing a petition, can make them more receptive to volunteering their time or donating to the cause later on. To defend against the manipulative use of commitment and consistency, be wary of small commitments that could be used to leverage larger requests later. Pay attention to your gut feeling. If you feel pressured or uncomfortable with a request, even if it seems insignificant, don't be afraid to say no. Recognize inconsistencies between what you are being asked to do and your values or previous commitments. By being mindful of your commitments and staying true to your values, you can avoid being swayed by this persuasive tactic. Remember, consistency is important, but not at the expense of your own well-being or integrity. The principle of social proof suggests that we determine what is correct or appropriate by observing the actions and behaviors of others, especially in ambiguous or uncertain situations. This principle is particularly potent in today's digital age, where online reviews, testimonials, and social media trends heavily influence our choices. For example, a restaurant with a long line of people waiting outside is likely to attract even more customers, as the crowd serves as social proof of its popularity and quality. Similarly, a product with numerous positive online reviews is more likely to be purchased than one with few or negative reviews. Marketers understand this principle and often use testimonials, celebrity endorsements, and best-selling labels to leverage the power of social proof. To defend against the manipulative use of social proof, it's crucial to consider the source and credibility of the information. Are the online reviews genuine or fabricated? Are the testimonials from real customers or paid actors? Look for diverse opinions and don't base your decisions solely on the opinions of others. Remember, just because something is popular doesn't necessarily mean it's the best choice for you. By critically evaluating the information presented to you and forming your own opinions, you can avoid being swayed by the herd mentality. Social proof can be a helpful guide, but it's essential to maintain a healthy dose of skepticism and independent judgment. Section 5. Liking, the influence of charm. The principle of liking states that we are more likely to comply with requests from people we like. This liking can stem from various factors, including physical attractiveness, similarity, compliments, and familiarity. Salespeople often try to establish rapport with potential customers by being friendly, complimentary, and finding common ground. For instance, a salesperson might compliment a customer on their taste in clothing, or mention a shared interest to build rapport and increase the likelihood of a sale. Similarly, we are more likely to donate to a charity if we are approached by someone we know and like, such as a friend or family member. To defend against the manipulative use of liking, it's crucial to separate the requester from the request. Focus on the merits of the request itself, rather than the person making it. Be wary of excessive flattery or attempts to establish rapport that seem insincere or self-serving. Remember, just because someone is likable doesn't mean their request is in your best interest. By maintaining a healthy degree of skepticism and focusing on the objective merits of a request, you can avoid being swayed by charm and likability. Section 6. Authority, the sway of expertise. The principle of authority suggests that we are more likely to obey figures of authority, even if their requests seem unreasonable or go against our better judgment. This obedience stems from our upbringing, where we are taught to respect and obey authority figures such as parents, teachers, and law enforcement officers. Symbols of authority such as titles, uniforms, and expensive possessions can also influence our behavior. For example, we are more likely to trust a medical professional wearing a white coat and stethoscope, even if they are not actually a doctor. Similarly, we are more likely to believe information presented by someone with an impressive title or academic credentials. To defend against the manipulative use of authority, it's essential to question authority and not blindly follow orders or accept information without scrutiny. Verify credentials, seek second opinions, and don't be afraid to challenge authority if you believe something is amiss. Remember, authority figures are not infallible, and their expertise in one area does not necessarily translate to others. By thinking critically and questioning authority, you can avoid being misled or manipulated by those who abuse their power or position. Section 7. Scarcity, the allure of limited availability. The principle of scarcity highlights our tendency to value things that are scarce or difficult to obtain. This principle is often used in marketing to create a sense of urgency and encourage impulse purchases. Limited time offers, exclusive deals, and while supplies last promotions all tap into our fear of missing out. For example, a clothing store might advertise a flash sale with limited quantities available to create a sense of urgency and encourage customers to buy now rather than later. Similarly, a website might display a countdown timer for a special offer, further amplifying the feeling of scarcity. To defend against the manipulative use of scarcity, it's crucial to evaluate the true value of the item and resist the urge to make impulse purchases. Ask yourself if you would still want the item if it were readily available. Consider whether you truly need the item or if you are being swayed by the fear of missing out. By taking a step back and rationally evaluating the situation, you can avoid making rash decisions based on scarcity tactics. Remember, true value lies in the inherent worth of an item or experience, not its perceived scarcity. Section 8. Unity, the influence of shared identity. The principle of unity underscores the power of shared identity in influencing our decisions and behaviors. We are more likely to be persuaded by those we perceive as being part of our in-group people who share our values, beliefs, or social identities. This principle is often leveraged in marketing and politics to create a sense of camaraderie and loyalty among a target audience. For instance, a brand might use inclusive language or imagery that resonates with a specific demographic group, fostering a sense of belonging and increasing brand affinity. Similarly, a political campaign might emphasize shared values or experiences to connect with voters on an emotional level. To defend against the manipulative use of unity, it's important to be aware of in-group bias and critically evaluate messages that appeal to group identity. Recognize that shared identity does not equate to shared values or beliefs in all cases. Be wary of attempts to manipulate your sense of belonging or loyalty for personal gain. By maintaining a healthy degree of skepticism and critically evaluating messages that appeal to group identity, you can avoid being swayed by emotional appeals that exploit your sense of belonging. Section 9. Conclusion: Mastering the art of ethical persuasion. Understanding the principles of persuasion outlined by Robert Cialdini in Influence can empower us to become more effective communicators, consumers, and decision-makers. However, it's crucial to use this knowledge ethically and responsibly. By recognizing the power of these principles, we can both harness their influence for good and defend against their manipulative use. Remember to be mindful of your own motivations and strive to influence others in a way that is honest, transparent, and respectful. When used ethically, the principles of persuasion can be powerful tools for building strong relationships, fostering positive change, and achieving mutually beneficial outcomes. By mastering the art of ethical persuasion, we can navigate the complexities of human interaction with greater awareness, confidence, and integrity.